Nothing stood out about this boring Monday class in my freshman year of high school. But little did I know, in that just a few moments, the words broadcasted from the intercom would be permanently metamorphic to my soul. Halfway through my freshman year of high school, my friend and classmate Nicholas died in a jet ski accident. Although it is morbid to acknowledge the fact that losing a close one is inevitable for us all, I believe this to be the exact reason we could all absorb wisdom from my story. My story will teach you strategies when facing overwhelming pain. These events are not only credible, but genuine as well, because they're totally mine, and the emotions I experienced were visceral and profound. On a brighter note, it is only through the toughest of times like these where strength and hope are built back tougher than before. The most important takeaway from my story is the acceptance of death as a part of life. Additionally, another takeaway presented itself after the incident, but its optimism was well received. It was a sort of rejuvenation of feeling when experiencing the lovely parts of life. A final lesson is that experiencing a death builds incredibly strong, lasting armor that helps for further struggles in life. Now onto my story. To me, Nick wasn't my best friend, or close to it. We sat next to each other in English class, usually making clever jokes or helping one another in assignments. When we occasionally ran into each other outside of school, I saw his playful and loving nature towards his friends. The point I'm trying to make here is although he wasn't an integral part of my being, his passing still affected me in that manner. It was Monday. The intercom buzzed on, listing his name and breaking the news to the school. I felt a sort of pit in my stomach. I did not want to believe that it was real. I began thinking of his smile and the countless moments that we shared. To make things worse, he was supposed to sit next to me in the following period. The rest of that day at school felt like a fever dream. The setting and the news did not match up at all. It infuriated me that so many people were enjoying their day like nothing happened. As soon as I entered my home, I started sobbing. The initial weeks following the event were incredibly frustrating and full of grief. After a couple of weeks, his parents and the community organized a beautiful ceremony for him, attended by hundreds with balloons and lights. This confused my emotions to no end. One half of my brain was so engulfed in pain, while the other was so full of joy from seeing the amount of love that he brought into this world through the faces of his loved ones. It was after the ceremonies and a few weeks that his death began to feel real. When the emotional period came to an end, I began to understand the wisdom and the changes that transpired in me. The first lesson is the acceptance of death as a part of life. It is so easy to drive yourself into a frenzy of questioning things like, why me? Why now? Why do things have to be this way? Now, of course, thoughts like this are bound to happen, but it is so important not to dwell on it. Not only is it useless, it drives you further down a path of unbearable contemplation and grief. Trust the old adage on this one, don't worry about things out of your control. Furthermore, the second takeaway was a rejuvenation and appreciation of life. After the shock of losing someone out of nowhere, the fragility of life is all too apparent. A refreshing feeling crept into the moments of my life. I began to appreciate every little emotion, word, taste, view, or literally anything about the human experience. And finally, the last takeaway was preparation and strength for struggles in the future. Because although this time was challenging, in hindsight it was important and very helpful. There is something so weirdly comforting about experiencing the pain of death, as it is the worst possible feeling an emotional being can go through. Through this experience, although my innocence was gone, virtues of resolve and stability grew. I want to relate with you guys about how the depths of life are indeed terrifying, that it is okay to be completely vulnerable, ruined, and hopeless. I want to inspire you all to fight like hell when these downfalls happen and not to take life too seriously, because it's just life after all. Thank you.